Hello, chat. I took a break from uploading again, but I had some inspiration today. I just came back from a run. As you can see, little 5.3 kilometers. It took me about an hour. It's been a really long time since I ran. It was more of a walk, honestly. I felt my calf begin to strain itself after like 30 minutes for like the third kilometer. So I was like, I'm just going to walk basically for the rest of the activity. Another video where I'm not chewing gum. We're drinking Fairlife Core Power because it was on sale, or I got two for $10. So we're gonna drink this. Um, so I was inspired to make a video, A, because I haven't uploaded in a while. Holy L consistency. But B, I actually had a topic I want to talk about. Not really planned out, but because I was running, it inspired something in me that I wanted to just sort of throw my thoughts out on. And that topic is moving past the memory. So a bit of a story time. I used to be somewhat into running as my activity of choice a couple of years back. I think it was 2021. Sort of exiting pandemic, coming back from a lockdown and stuff, but not a lot of stuff was like too open yet, and I didn't really have a gym membership. But I was like, I would like to have a physical activity that I can gauge my progress in and like just be outside because the weather was actually pretty good coming out of pandemic in 2021. At least from what I believe, we had so much free time anyway because the classes were still kind of not really happening yet. So looking into the late spring 2021, mostly into summer, I got decently into running. The app I just showed, or I showed to you, show my time off and stuff, my splits, is the Nike Run app, which has been on my phone. Well, not this phone because it's a newer phone, but it's been an app that has been like transferred and downloaded for over like 6 years now at this point, or I guess five. Um, because I really just like wanted to be active and was running. And I'll never say that I'm a professional runner or someone who took it like super seriously, but I did do it like almost every day. I tried to do it as much as I could and just get the body moving. It was my activity of choice. It kind of bleeds into like why I didn't go to the gym for such a long time because even when I did go, I didn't really have any experience or guidance on like how to use any machines or free weights. So naturally, a lot of the sessions when I used to go to the gym before, like right now, would eventually devolve into like some form of cardio. Usually just power walking on the treadmill. So I mean, anyone can run, right? Maybe that's a little privilege to say, but running doesn't require like, at least to me, I'm gonna have professional runners come and comment, but you know, like form checks needed. You just go and jog, or you just go and walk. So that was like my thing. Um, so this is a little unrelated. Well, it is related, but it's gonna come. I don't know how to really transition into this, but running for a while, I took like a long break from it um, after 21 because it kind of brought some really difficult memories with it. So during that time frame when I was running a lot more often, I would post sort of my results or splits or whatever to like a group chat with these people I was friends with at one point. And I'll never claim to be like professional runner or whatever. I think it was impressive. It was like 5K in an hour, 7K in an hour and 10 minutes, or anything like that. But it was never about I was not showing off. That was never my intention. It was like showing off or like flexing that I'm like running this and that. Just wanted to show and post about like things that I was doing because it was like kind of pandemic still or coming out of it. So I didn't really see these people very often. So I just wanted to update and see what I was up to and doing. Um, but no one would really like respond or like care about it. It kind of get glossed over, and I mean, no one owes you attention or like time, or no one owes you like free like pats on the back for like the things you do. But it did kind of hurt to kind of be showing off things that you're doing, trying to show that like what you're interested in, like things you're working on, and like no one would give a fuck. Your friends that don't give a fuck, or friends at the time like just don't give a fuck. It would just be like it would be seen and there'd be no like response. Again, I'm not looking for pats on the back, but it's like you know, fella running every day. Be like, can I at least get a thumbs up? Like this is before we got Discord, really using Discord to react. So it would kind of go off and invisible. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hurt. It hurts to kind of tell people things they're doing and they just seem to give a fuck, or it gets glossed over, or no one cares. And again, it was never from a place of. It'd be different if I was gloating or if I was trying to show off and be like, "You guys don't run, you guys ain't run, you guys didn't do this or that." But no, I just wanted to update and like show what I was up to. But like, no one really gave a fuck. And I know like attention from your friends and the physical activity of running, jogging, or power walking is two very different things. But memory is interesting in that way. Memory isn't always all about the facts or the physical play by play of what happened, but memory is the emotion at times too that certain sites and activities bring. I don't even really remember, the exact text that came all these years later. Like I guess lack of text, not text, lack of text that came all these years later. But I remember opening, every time I opened the Nike Run app and like the UI for it, it would bring back those memories of like being ignored. And I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. It really did hurt. It would make running a very emotional experience for me. I can't lie. And I remember throughout the years, I would be asked by like, because I did it a lot. People would bring it up, and my parents would ask, "So why'd you stop running?" Because they would see me leave the house at like 9 a.m. on a Saturday. I wouldn't come back for 2 hours. So I was just out walking and running and stuff. But then I stopped for years. And that's why you stop. Why you stop? They would kind of get mad because it's like there was a point in time where I was physically active, and then I went back to not being physically active. But I would just say like I just didn't feel like it. Like I didn't really want to. But I'm gonna be honest. The truth is that it hurt. It hurt to move myself in that way. It hurt to use Nike Run Club or put the fanny pack on to like keep your phone on you and stuff. Like that whole process and event, I guess, ritual. Sure, it hurt a lot. It would bring back, flash those memories of like being ignored, and eventually it's and that's a story for another time. But eventually it ended badly, basically, or it ended in a way that like it it was a difficult ending. I'm not gonna lie, and I think part of it was that period where it felt like things that I was doing wasn't really being acknowledged. You know, and I think it's like that neglect. It permeates the memory. You know, the you know the way you breathe while running, it made me think like no one really gives a fuck and stuff. And of course, you don't gotta do things for people's validation and stuff. Again, no one knows you and you pass on the back, but I mean that shit hurt. I would probably would even rather be like, yo, fuck you for running or whatever, just for the sake that it was acknowledged and not being like invisible about things I was doing. And it made it hard. But today we went on a run. Just part of like trying to be active and stuff. It felt good. It was emotional though. I won't lie. Like obviously I'm physically out of shape, so when I say it felt good, like not after the first like 15 minutes, my calf started to strain, but running the same trail just around my house and stuff. Um, Can't lie. I hope no one saw my eyes. I took my glasses off because I already can't see without my glasses on. My eyes got like teary. I turned my music off and just kind of walked and like breathed. It hurt. I've never really had like can't really think of like trauma attacks like that, or I don't want to call it that. I feel like that's desensitizing it, but it is a difficult emotion. It was hard to process and come back to, but I do believe this is a part of my life that is like activity wise and like what I like to do. I do enjoy it. There's a part of me that still like likes the idea of just running. I mean, I'm a Sonic fan for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying? That's all he did. I'm trying to be Sonic. Um, but it's tricky, or I never thought there'd be like a mental barrier to just going on a run, but there is. Maybe you could just use a different app or run a different trail, and like yeah, that's true. But I think at the end of the day, like it's just it's just hard to commit the activity without flashing in your head those moments of where you felt really neglected or ignored, I guess. But I want to move past the memory of that to like make it like better. And I think the way you do that though is actually really enjoying it, so that maybe when I bring up running, there is moments of like thinking back to those being ignored, but then it also brings up you know that first 10K or that first, whatever thing you did. So that's kind of my plan and goal because I do enjoy it. But it was tricky today, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, for the dude that be living in the past all the time, it's not all of it is fun. A lot of it hurts. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I could never really fully explain like why I didn't, like why I stopped because it's too emotional for immigrant parents. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too it's too wishy washy. It's not like I got injured and then I stopped or whatever. It's like I stopped because and in here, it was difficult. It would make me sad. It would make me emotional. But you know, part of this whole arc of life right now is finally looking forward, and I think it involves kind of looking back at everything and acknowledging that it hurt, that it was hard, but you can't live there forever or be tied down by it forever. I mean, it's been 5 years for God's sakes. Fella's gonna be like, you don't run because some people ignored you 10 years ago, even though I like running. You know, it sounds stupid to say out loud, but I'm not gonna lie, it was in there, like it hurt. But to stop repeating myself. But what can you do, right? I think it's okay to forgive yourself and be like, hey, it hurt, but we don't have to appease anybody anymore, or like that experience is long behind us. We can disconnect it or make an effort to mend it, not disconnect it fully, but to like mend the bit of pain that comes with it and turn into something that is still productive and that still is like nice to do, you know. But yeah, that was the video today. It wasn't scripted at all, but I was really inspired to want to speak about it because I had just done it and it's clear in my head as I did it. So thank you for listening, chat. I need to get back to uploading. It's hard, because you come home tired from work, and I want to try and work out too. So when you get home, it's like my brain is all foggy at that point. I don't want to have a video full of stuttering. I'm just trying to think of things to talk about. But we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. Hey, this is supposed to be forever, right? So we can have a long ass like bumbling beginning, but they'll get better eventually. I don't want it to be, you know, off the cuff and rough forever. You know what I mean? Chewing gum out.